Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is no ordinary criminal. He is one of the most notorious and powerful drug lords in history, who was once the head of Mexico's most powerful organized crime group, the Sinaloa Cartel. Imagine being the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere. But what did he do that made him one of the most infamous criminals in modern times? Let's find out. Born on April 4, 1957, Joaquín Guzmán grew up in a modest farming community located in Badiraguato, Sinaloa. His early years were spent with his family by selling oranges at local markets. The skill of trade was instilled in him at a young age, which soon took a shift toward illicit paths. With guidance from his uncle, Guzman transitioned from small-scale hustling to managing contraband. His ambition and knack for logistics saw him escalate operations, eventually orchestrating expansive shipments of marijuana. His enterprise grew, and cocaine became the centerpiece of his business, not just in Sinaloa, but also reaching the lucrative markets in the United States. That's what put El Chapo on the map of big-time drug trafficking. Although his formal education was limited, Guzman demonstrated an indisputable aptitude for his chosen field of work. One might say he earned a de facto PhD in drug trafficking through experience. He was a trailblazer in the narcotics trade, reputed for leasing an airplane hangar in Mexico City's main airport, which played a critical role in his smuggling operations. Furthermore, he was instrumental in the construction of sophisticated tunnels under the U.S.-Mexico border, which were used to transport drugs undetected, showcasing his innovative approach to drug smuggling. El Chapo's career was also riddled with violence and power struggles. In the 1990s, his path took a turn when he parted ways with the established Guadalajara traffickers and engaged in a deadly conflict with the Tijuana Cartel, led by the Arellano Felix family. This group controlled the highly profitable Tijuana Corridor, an important route for smuggling narcotics into the United States. It was also during these times of intense cartel warfare that an attempt was made on El Chapo's life in 1993, underlying the hidden nature of his trade. The assassination plot forced him to seek refuge in Guatemala. However, his escape was short-lived, as local authorities apprehended him and sent him back to Mexico, placing the notorious kingpin behind bars. Here, you may think that everything is over. This is obvious when you are behind bars. But don't forget that we're talking about one of the most cunning criminals in history. From jail, El Chapo managed to operate as though he weren't confined at all. His brother, Arturo Guzmán Loera, known as El Pollo, kept the gears of the empire turning smoothly outside the prison walls. El Chapo's influence reached even behind bars. Allies like Arturo and Hector Beltran Leyva delivered suitcases brimming with cash, maintaining his grip on the reins of control. This financial clout bought him luxuries rarely seen in prison life, from gourmet meals to visits from his wife and other companions. Meanwhile, Juan José Esparragoza Moreno, or El Azul, a friend and kin by marriage, ensured that drugs flowed to the States, avoiding the hurdles that rivals might have laid in their path. When you have such power and resources, no bars or walls can keep you from running an empire. In 2001, El Chapo executed a daring escape from prison just as talks of extraditing him to the United States were intensifying, a significant setback for law enforcement. He slipped through the authorities' grasp and remained at large for over a decade, thanks to a highly intricate security apparatus that he had established. El Chapo sought relative safety in the secluded backwoods of Sinaloa and Durango, cleverly keeping himself off the radar. During this period of evasion, many reports surfaced about close encounters with the fugitive, yet they turned out to be mere tales. Particularly in February 2012, Mexican officials claimed to have almost apprehended El Chapo, only for it to surface later that this incident was non-existent. It was suspected that this misinformation may have been propagated to uplift then-President Calderón's image in the eyes of the public before the 2012 elections. Adding to the legend, in February 2013, rumors abounded about El Chapo's death during a shootout in Guatemala, the country that had previously expedited him to Mexico. These rumors, too, proved unfounded. All this might seem like a script from a Hollywood movie, but for El Chapo, it was his real life. Later, in the early hours of February 22, 2014, a significant development unfolded. El Chapo was finally apprehended by Mexican Marines in a hotel in Mazatlan. At this point, He was the most notorious fugitive globally, with a whopping $5 million bounty for his capture. Following his arrest, there was immediate pressure from the U.S. to extradite him, and Mexico muddied the issue, leaving many to wonder if he would ever be made to answer for his crimes on American soil. And guess what? El Chapo escaped from a maximum security prison on July 11, 2015. Not with the infamy of his previous laundry cart escape, but through a carved tunnel that snaked 1.5 kilometers to his prison shower cell. What a mastermind! The saga continued. In January 8, 2016, Mexico's president announced the recapture of El Chapo via Twitter, proclaiming, "Mission accomplished. We have him," practically on the eve of a political transition in the U.S. On January 19, 2017, Mexico extradited El Chapo to the United States, a move packed with symbolic implications just hours before Donald Trump's inauguration, sparking discussions on the message President Peña Nieto might be sending to the soon-to-be U.S. president. After a 3-month trial in the U.S., February 2019 marked the downfall of El Chapo. He was found guilty on every charge laid against him. These charges spanned the spectrum of drug trafficking to the murkier depths of money laundering and the leadership of a criminal enterprise. Now, facing a life sentence without parole, El Chapo's next home is expected to be the formidable ADX Florence, often dubbed the Alcatraz of the Rockies, America's strictest and only supermax prison. He was captured 3 times, escaped twice, and made it through a blockbuster trial. Truly, El Chapo's reign as the most infamous drug lord has come to an end. But you may wonder, does this mark the end of drug trafficking? Unfortunately, no. As long as there is demand for illegal drugs, there will always be someone willing to supply them, even if it means risking their life and freedom. His arrest did not mark the end of the Sinaloa Cartel. Instead, the group's operations continued smoothly, with Ismael El Mayo Zambada stepping in alongside El Chapo's sons to maintain their influential status within the criminal hierarchy. Together, they worked to sustain the cartel's dominance. El Mayo, possessing years of experience and respect in the underworld, placed himself as the mediator among Mexico's fragmented criminal organizations. There's a notion that he seeks to restore some level of order in a landscape riddled with conflict. Given El Mayo's seasoned leadership and the legacy of El Chapo's lineage, the Sinaloa Cartel's resilience against seismic shifts in Mexico's criminal map appears undiminished, even resilient in the face of their leader's incarceration. His list of crimes is just endless. He was convicted of leading a criminal enterprise and engaging in myriad acts, including drug trafficking, money laundering, weapons possession, and murder. If you want a detailed video covering the crimes done by El Chapo and his family, make sure to leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, let us know in the comments if you want to see more videos on similar topics. You can also check out our previous video on Eleanor of Aquitaine. Goodbye until next time.